Ah, camera's on. Yep, making a video. It's been a couple of days. Haven't gone like a couple of days before. Not in a while anyway. Um, you know, for no good reason. There really wasn't a good reason for not making a video. Except I was just thinking, my brain has just been contemplating stuff. So anyway, this video is going to be useless. So no complaints allowed. Just don't listen to it. It'll just be a bit of a ramble on different things that's been rolling through my brain. So there's two big major things. Well, anyway, I've been watching some of that Tyson guy. A couple more of his whatever they call that shows. So that's what they are. They're just shows. And he always has the same. He goes through the same routine. Oh, the universe is made out of hydrogen. Well, let's forget helium, carbon, and oxygen, and we're made out of that, and therefore life must happen real easy. Really bogus argument. And we're oh yeah, aliens will be really, 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 really smart, and therefore they won't want to have a conversation with us because we're just too stupid. Bullshit. Like there's all this, like super important agenda stuff that apparently the master brilliant people would be thinking about. Like they wouldn't be caught up in the same kind of mechanism that we're stuck with. They wouldn't be just sitting around eating potato chips and watching soap operas. Come on, bullshit. Our sports. Ugh. Puke. Anyway, so I've been just thinking there's got to be some counter arguments for that nonsense. I mean, I shouldn't have to. There should be a way to definitively prove that there's a limit to this knowledge curve. Like there isn't some new special thing to be knowledgeable of that will make you incapable of appreciating or conversing with or communicating with something of our state of consciousness, our level of consciousness, that it somehow could be made um, pitifully archaic. So archaic that we're an insect, we're a bug. I mean, he's used the analogy. Would you have a conversation with an earthworm? Would you talk, or that kind of thing? Like that would be somehow that would be the relative comparison, and it's it's silly. Um, so yeah, I mean, you can make the argument of progression that just seems so obvious, and that if we look at the last 10,000 years of human history, I mean, it wasn't really complicated facts that we were getting wrong. It was really simple ones. Um, but we just need more knowledge to be able to judge ourselves and say, yeah, you got that one wrong. I mean, the flat Earth stuff is, flat Earth it's yeah, okay, that's the conclusion you're going to draw out of ignorance. And it doesn't take too much data to make that, oh, okay, yeah, I get it now. And sun revolving around the Earth, and I mean, those things are just so easily fixed. And it took us thousands of years to fix them. Microbes causing disease. I mean, there wasn't like the amount of knowledge we needed to obtain some sort of sense of competence in talking about reality wasn't that much knowledge. It really wasn't. I got a lemon here I'm going to peel. Yeah, somebody sends me stuff, and they really shouldn't do that. It's very nice. I mean, stuff I would never buy because I'm cheap, but it's just too expensive to do it that way. And on that note, there are some people that are just really nice to me, and you know, it does make you. I mean, it doesn't it doesn't make life worth living, but it does give you a sense of, oh, well, maybe everything about humans isn't completely stinky and shitty. So it's nice. I did put a donate button on the website. Now, I didn't even say anything, and 4 people have donated, and that was really nice, and some, not insignificant money, and um, yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, I really appreciate it. Most of the money I figure that'll be collected through that donation button. I'll put towards website stuff, one way or the other, either paying to Pointless or, paying for the infrastructure, providing a website, and hopefully, once I start doing the uploading other people's videos thing, bandwidth will cost a little bit of money, but we'll see. I don't think it's going to be that much. I mean, I think it'll be controllable, so I won't be begging too often. Um, but anyway, but I really, really appreciate it. Um, so anyway, what else? Yeah, so yeah, so I've just been kind of stuck with that. running through my head. And so I was been thinking about physics. I've been thinking about how the universe works and all this. Because, he talks about some other stuff, and I just think he's full of shit. And he's so arrogant and so full of himself. I mean, he even made some kind of comment about, well, there's only 6,000 astrophysicists in the world. So when you have one, it's a 1 in a million, chance. So you better ask your questions. And it's just like, oh, please, asshole. So anyway, so yeah, I was thinking about the whole physics thing too, because somebody has posted me links. So I was reading up on some of this. What is it, Hague particle? I forget. They're looking for this, that stupid super collider thing. They're looking for this stupid particle that somehow, I really don't get exactly how it accounts for mass, but it's apparently something like my idea that maybe the universe is made up of a substance, a structure, and it's the movement of that structure, or the context of that structure, that accounts for, everything is just anti the structure, so to speak. So like empty space is really, the functional space, and it's like matter is the defective space or something like that. But anyway, the idea is that it is the element that accounts for the illusion of force and momentum. It's the thing that gives things mass. So it's like the rain falling on you or something. I don't know how to put it. That's the gravity. It's an invisible thing to us, but it's a real force when associated with matter. And then it creates the effect of something pushing you towards the center of the earth. I would assume. So we're not getting pulled towards it, we're actually getting pushed, I guess is the way to look at it, by that theory. Something like that. Let's see. Lemons. I love lemons. Anyway. I won't eat the lemon in the video. That would be rude. Or maybe I will, and I'll just speed it up at the end or something. I don't know. No point doing that either, though. Just suck on it. Okay. This stuff. So let me finish this video. Something rational. So anyway, I was thinking about that stuff, that physics stuff. And, I'm working out this sort of theory with this triangle-y thing. Being the source of all matter and everything, and that we call that the quantum or whatever, and that you can shape it, to be different lengths and widths, which would account for frequency and amplitude of, the electromagnetic spectrum. And what else would it do? I was also thinking about that, because the light does have this tendency to be polarizable, like it had an angle, and I'd almost think that the difference between a photon would be that a photon has got a flat plane, and that an electron is got, two planes intersecting, or even a whole myriad of them. It's like a whole bunch of planes, in that triangle shape. And that would account for how electrons produce photons, because a photon would just be one plane of an electron that shoots off. But the whole idea is just that, all this energy is just really speed, confined, trapped in orbits. And, and so that's another context, this whole thing about what we are and how thoroughly bizarre we are. It's just the idea that when you think about how many cells you're made of, then how many atoms you're made out of, and then how many electrons you're made out of, how much energy is actually possessed inside of you. I mean, it's enough to blow the planet up, 1,000,000 times over. There's a tremendous amount of energy, that has gone into your construction, into the building of this universe. It's all these, and it's just hard to get a perspective on that, and to realize, just how extraordinary a circumstance has to get. But that was another part of this thing, and I think I had a pretty good argument for that. So let me think for a second. I wish I'd come up with something really great. Then I would have made a serious video, because I just didn't. I have to do some more thinking. But this idea of the, that we're made out of common elements. It's common elements, but it's still an incredible process when you think about it. You just put these common elements in a beaker, and all of a sudden a thing pops out and says, "Heidi," "Heidi ho." You know how it's pretty extraordinary for a piece of chemistry to acquire the ability to reproduce itself. It's, you know, that's not just hydrogen and helium and carbon and oxygen and nitrogen doing their thing. No, it's a very bizarre thing. Yeah, and if you were to make, you know, if you look at the universe, I mean, you could say a diamond is it's rare, it doesn't happen too often, and you could ask the question, why does the universe do that? Why does it make diamonds? I mean, do you think it makes diamonds because diamonds are interesting to human beings because they got a little sparkle to them, and you know they're kind of clear and you can look through them? I mean, what, you know? Did you think that's the agenda of the universe, to make diamonds so human beings can look at them and say, "Ooh, sparkly"? No, it's chemistry that's made possible because of the circumstance, and that's all. The fact that we ended up that matter is capable of reproducing itself in extraordinary circumstances. Just as it's an extraordinary circumstance that creates this diamond, it's an extraordinary circumstance that creates this reproducing cellular beastie. And we just don't know how extraordinary. We've only found one of them so far. You know, and no evidence of any others ever being created on this planet, which is it's pretty strong evidence that it doesn't happen easy. But anyway, yeah, so it's just the way it is. I mean, it really isn't a fact we need to figure out. And I was thinking about, oh yeah, I was thinking that based on the physics thing, but I was sort of thinking, well, why do I want to sit there and even mess with trying to theorize on some energy unification theory or something? What good would that knowledge do anyway? Even if we figured it all out, if we figured out exactly how all the little matter does its little mattery thing, it's completely irrelevant to the only thing that does matter, which is the fact that matter has this capacity to create reproducing organisms, cells anyway. We know that and we know it happened once. We don't know how possible it is. We still don't know how strangled an improbability the first reproducing cell was. Until we answer that question, you know, in some more definitive way, where we actually figure out a process that could lead to that happening. And it's going to be hard to do because there's a lot of chemistry in there, and you know, it's really hard to figure out what the minimum amount of chemistry you need to create something that will actually be able to reproduce itself, and to do it in that chromosome way, where the chromosome is dictating the creation of the next whatever life form. So where was I going with this? Yeah, so I was just thinking, you know, the only thing I was thinking about was, you know, it's just kind of a selfish ego thing. It's like, oh yeah, it'd be nice if I, you know, did the Einstein thing and you figured out, oh yeah, this is how energy looks, and this is how it interacts, and this is why it does what it does, and you solve that big giant stupid question, and you're saying, yeah, and it would just be an ego thing. It'd be a thing where, yeah, you instantly have credibility now. So now you can do hour-and-a-half lectures and tell your stupid stories and talk and yammer about the stuff that's important to you. But you really still should be still should be open to the critique, and it just seems that these guys really do protect themselves. I mean, they're not on YouTube. They're not in some environment where they have to actually defend their crap. So I mean, this Tyson guy can just keep going on this lecture circuit and keep preaching this mush that really doesn't mean much, without anybody challenging him to do a little better than that. I mean, you know, life is plentiful in the universe because it's made out of common elements. I mean, that's just bullshit. Still doesn't explain why we can't duplicate it, why we can't synthesize one, create one, and why it never happened again on this planet. I mean, there's so many things it doesn't explain. Well, anyway, so I think that's enough. Yeah, it'd just be nice to see him challenged. And yeah, I'm just thinking about, you know, yeah, and if I was in that position, that's what I'd be looking for, is the argument. I mean, just a platform to preach from is stupid. Proving your case is the important thing. So anyway, this went on much longer than necessary and such. So sorry. You know, yeah, that's just an explanation of why I just haven't been making videos at my regular pace. I just have a little bit of a clog. It's a little writer's block or whatever, a little video block. So I'll work on it and so forth. And thank you. You know who you are and such.